But the reason there were no other options is because anybody that played in that era would tell you there could not possibly be another option because Michael Jordan was head and shoulders above them all. The obvious, you do know that MJ has 6 titles, right? And LeBron has 4. You do know that, right? You do know that MJ was undefeated in all 6 NBA Finals appearances. Do you know that? You do know that Michael Jordan never allowed an NBA Finals series to get to a 7th game. Did you know that? I'm sure you did. Did you know he's a 10-time champion? And LeBron has won a scoring title 1 time? Did you know he's a 9-time first-team all-defensive player? LeBron James did that 5 times. Did you know that Michael Jordan is the former Defensive Player of the Year, 1988? LeBron James has never won a Defensive Player of the Year. We're talking about what you do on both sides of the court, and we're talking about Michael Jordan, in my mind, being the greatest, but not throwing any shade on LeBron James because he's the worthy number 2. That during the LeBron James era, there were debates as to whether or not he was the best in the world because Kobe was still playing at one time. Tim Duncan was still playing for a large chunk of that time. And ultimately, Steph Curry has been playing a large chunk of that time. Do you know that when Michael Jordan was playing, there was never a debate ever as to who was the best in the world? Did you know that? There was never a debate. Even before Michael Jordan won the title in 91, from 88 on, it was clear that Michael Jordan, even with Larry Bird or Magic Johnson winning championships, it was clear that Michael Jordan was the best player in the world. Larry Bird called him God in gym shorts.
Before the era of LeBron's crown, before Kobe perfected the fadeaway like a carefully studied art piece, and long before Steph casually launched threes from the parking lot, one name didn't just rule basketball. It shaped the entire identity of the sport. Michael Jeffrey Jordan wasn't a debate or a comparison. He was the benchmark itself. This conversation isn't about numbers or how long someone stayed in the league. It's about influence, about the one player who bent the NBA so dramatically that every superstar who came after has spent their careers measuring themselves against his shadow. And Stephen A. Smith has been reminding the world of this for years. Jordan wasn't simply the best. He was the model that set the direction of the modern game. Everything that came after feels like a variation of what he created. That's why whenever people try to push LeBron into the same category, Stephen A. shuts it down instantly. Not out of bias, but because the history speaks for itself. Jordan carried himself with a fire, an edge, and a ruthless instinct the modern game still hasn't been able to recreate. And that's exactly why we're breaking down the Stephen A. quotes that blew the Jordan versus everyone debate wide open. If you're tired of watered-down history and scripted narratives, you already know real greatness doesn't need PR teams, and you should be dropping your thoughts in the comments right now. Stephen A. begins with the truth most people refuse to confront. At his peak, Jordan wasn't just better, he was unreachable. His presence alone rattled opponents before the game even started. His energy froze defenders, and the legends of that era admitted it without hesitation. Larry Bird said he was God wearing basketball shoes. Magic Johnson said he climbed past every icon. The league bent around him so dramatically they literally had to adjust the rules. And that's when Stephen A. delivers the knockout point. Jordan faced real opponents, real pushback, and real fear, something today's era hasn't truly replicated. Meanwhile, LeBron's biggest rivals never carried that same intimidation factor. And that's not an insult, it's simply the reality of different eras. No one questioned Jordan's crown while he was wearing it. There were no agenda-driven debates or manufactured storylines, just one man setting the league on fire every single night. And Stephen A. argues that the fact this debate even exists today shows how deep the denial runs, because Jordan's greatness was never hypothetical. It was clear. It was undeniable. There was Jordan, then everyone else far behind. And when Stephen A. shifts to discussing legacy, especially while addressing comments from people close to Jordan, he emphasizes that leadership was never something Jordan shared. He didn't wait for an opportunity. He seized it and dominated it. He didn't win with politeness. He shattered dynasties, crushed stars, and embarrassed top-tier teams without jumping squads or forming super alliances. And yes, LeBron has had an extraordinary career, but it includes stumbles, high-pressure failures, and moments where the moment overtook him. When Stephen A. questions why LeBron's name keeps being forced into the same lane as Jordan's, is saying out loud what many fans quietly believe. This generation is trying to fast-track a crown while overlooking the man who invented the standard. Jordan didn't chase greatness, he built it brick by brick. LeBron arrived after the blueprint was already drawn. Jordan authored the rulebook, which is why the comparison often feels artificial, almost like a media-driven experiment to keep the conversation buzzing. And Stephen A. doesn't sugarcoat it. Jordan remains the destination every superstar is still trying to reach. Then he drops the harshest truth of all. Jordan's resume has nothing that needs defending. 6 finals trips, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, no Game 7s, no edits, no excuses. That's domination you can't rewrite. Meanwhile, LeBron's story keeps getting recalibrated year after year, patched with explanations and adjusted with new context. Jordan walked away as the best, twice. Then he returned later and still hung 40 like time had no authority over him. Stephen A. highlights the gap between legends who lose sleep over what ifs and the one man who never had to, because Jordan emptied the tank every single night. He approached every game like combat. If you talk trash, you didn't just poke the bear, you basically wrote your own ending. Drexler found out. Peyton found out. Brian Russell ended up in history for the wrong reason. Jordan took every slight personally and answered with destruction on the scoreboard, not for clout or cameras, but because that was simply his nature. He didn't want to beat opponents, he wanted to erase them. And when you compare that to today's culture, jersey swaps, friendly banter, pre-game laughs, it's clear Jordan would have hated it. He wasn't there to socialize, he came to conquer. That's why Stephen A. keeps hammering the point. Kobe mirrored the footwork. LeBron had flashes of that killer mode. But no one duplicated the cold, relentless fire that made elite players crumble. The entire league twisted itself around his obsession. Because for Jordan, this wasn't just basketball. It was a mission. Jordan entered the league with the mindset of a born assassin. He didn't warm up to the pace, didn't spend years adjusting. He hit the NBA like a lightning strike, dissecting veterans, hunting their weaknesses, and attacking them without hesitation. He never begged for help or dodged challenges. He grabbed the pressure, the spotlight, and his opponent's pride all at once. Jordan didn't grow into greatness, he arrived carrying it. LeBron came in with promise, but Jordan came in with purpose, and you can feel that difference the moment you watch old footage. Jordan played to dominate, not to entertain. Every jumper, every dunk, every defensive stand meant something to him. And Stephen A. makes that point loud and clear. Players built like Jordan aren't supposed to be compared, they are supposed to be recognized. Jordan didn't negotiate outcomes, he eliminated competition. And when LeBron fans push back, Stephen A. reminds them of the brutal reality. Jordan survived an era filled with elbows, hard fouls, and real blood on the court. The bad boy Pistons tried to destroy him physically, yet he returned even stronger. He battled Magic, Barkley, Ewing, Reggie, true killers who tried to stop him by any means necessary. Then you compare that to the level of resistance LeBron has faced, and the difference becomes impossible to ignore. That's not disrespect. That's the historical record. Jordan scaled a mountain packed with killers and left nothing but destruction on the way up. LeBron built an incredible career with unmatched longevity, but he faced fewer battles, smoother roads, and rules designed to shield stars. Jordan survived a league that tried to break you, and that's why his 6 rings carry a different weight, why every scar tells a story, and why this debate refuses to disappear. So now the question shifts to you. Do we measure greatness by comfort and longevity, or by domination and fear? Stephen A. has already made his choice, and the comments are ready to erupt. Stephen A. isn't here to make anyone feel safe. That's exactly the point. When the climb is lighter, the crown never hits the same. And he puts it bluntly, LeBron walked a smoother path. Jordan's journey was brutal. And that difference matters, because Jordan didn't just rule the league, he shaped it. So when Stephen A. says Jordan paved the way for lifetime deals now handed to LeBron, Curry, and Durant, he's not stretching the truth. He's telling it exactly how it is. Jordan wasn't just a superstar, he was the spark that changed the entire business of basketball. Without him, there are no global sneaker dynasties, no billion-dollar endorsement lanes, no worldwide celebrity athletes. He didn't simply play the game, he rewired it from the inside out. Before Jordan, players were competitors. After Jordan, they became cultural symbols. The NBA didn't explode across the world by coincidence. Jordan turned greatness into a belief system and sold perfection, obsession, and legacy to every corner of the globe. That's why Jordan still outsells the entire market. Why every new star dreams of a signature logo instead of only a paycheck. Jordan didn't ride a wave, he built it. Today's players are succeeding inside a structure he designed from scratch. That isn't influence, that's creation. He didn't just raise the standard, he constructed the entire platform, and without him the business side of basketball collapses. Which is why Stephen A. half jokes that every modern superstar should be sending Jordan a thank you check every year, because he didn't just dominate a sport, he gave birth to the era they profit from. Then Stephen A. delivers the final, ice-cold reminder. Jordan, well past his prime, stepped onto an NBA court and dropped 40. Not as nostalgia, not as a farewell gift, but as a direct punch at Father Time. Most legends fade quietly, easing out of the spotlight. Jordan returned with gray in his beard and dismantled professionals like he never missed a beat. That 40-point game wasn't just impressive, it was unbelievable, rewriting the rules of what aging athletes should look like. Jordan had already retired twice, already become a myth, yet when he came back slower and older, he didn't just hang around, he dominated. No farewell tour, no pity minutes. He wanted the challenge, and Stephen A. keeps shouting the same message. Jordan wasn't built like anyone else. He didn't adapt to time, he overpowered it. And that's when Stephen A. lands his sharpest line, aimed at everyone without naming a soul. This is the difference between the originator and the imitator. You can copy the fadeaway, wear the number, even build a brand, but you can't duplicate creation. You can't mimic a revolution